start. Thank you for attending. Obviously, my name is James Pennington, and I'm going to take you through this introduction to being seen, making sales, and building relationships online. Obviously, we're going to have a focus on e-commerce. My background, as you might want to understand why I'm sat here delivering this, is I've been working in digital now for probably 21 years. So SEO, paid advertising, Google Analytics, building websites, e-commerce solutions, but actually going further beyond that as to where technology fits in the business. For 11 years of that, I was working with the University of Warwick. And prior to 2000, I was with Warwick as well, but I was more focused on engineering and CAD and data management solutions and web servers and websites. I left the university 12 years ago, and I now run my own small, medium-sized business, delivering consultancy to companies in how you can best exploit digital technologies. So that might be CRM, might be network systems, cloud, but obviously at the moment, very big focus on the online, the digital world. Okay, so that's a bit about me. And as we go through today, obviously, I'll take questions at the end, but if there's something you need me just to recap on, or something you'd like me to explain in more depth, then please do unmute your mic. You can put a question into chat. I can see the chat messages coming in, and I'm happy to take questions as we go through. Obviously, this session is a prelim to the masterclass series, and we'll cover the masterclass series at the end. This is to give you a taster of what the masterclass will actually talk about and how you can use it to actually grow your online presence. Have all of you got an online presence? You can put it in chat, or you can talk to me direct. I know Derek has, because I've got his up in front of me. BT Yap, not yet, still starting out. Okay, so some of this will fit for you quite a lot in thinking through that and what you need to do. And obviously, Derek, some of these things, hopefully you have thought about and they're implemented in your WooCommerce website. I'm going to hasten again at what that is. Okay, so let's make a start. Okay, so when we talk about e-commerce in my world, we're talking about electronic commerce or commerce across the internet. The buying and selling of goods or services. Okay, so not just focusing on the B2C, but also a B2B marketplace where we may actually be promoting a service to a client, as well as also promoting the purchase of a product. If we look at e-commerce in the wider scope, it's about trading a transaction. It's about being able to pay for services, transfer of money, digital payment of invoices, allowing people to back transfer or pay on your websites using cards. So it's got a wider scope than just the running of an e-commerce website that's selling meditation machines, scented candles, etc. Okay. Now, to give it some perspective, the UK is the largest market in Europe for e-commerce. So we are pretty much, as a country, we are pretty much ahead of the rest of Europe in where we are development-wise and the amount of people in this area. Obviously, globally, we are behind the US and China. So we're seen as market leaders. And last year, and I'm pretty sure you're not surprised by this figure, there was a 34.7% increase in people buying online. Now, mainly, if we think about that, that's probably down to the fact that most of us couldn't go to a shop and buy something. But it's changed people's attitudes. So a lot of people, the convenience of buying online, the availability 24/7 of buying online are things which a lot of people will probably now stay more towards that. And it now becomes an even bigger challenge for the retail, the high street, to actually find ways to encourage us as customers to go back, because Amazon will deliver direct to my door. 141.33 billion pounds worth of spend that equated to. Okay, so it's a big area, and obviously we are looking at how you can take your business into getting some of this share. What is selling online? Obviously, the biggest area from the last 12 months has been clothing. So people buying clothing, deliveries, restaurants, big increase. Again, we can see where this fits. Printed books, newspapers, furniture, home care. Okay, so really there's no limit to what we can sell. The key to this is understanding who we're going to sell it to, and then what that person actually needs. So when we go into the masterclass, we'll be talking a lot about understanding the customer and profiling the customer. Because in the world of digital, whether it's a website, an e-commerce store, whether it's a social media platform, or you're going to do some paid advertising to drive traffic, every single message you put out there should be aimed at a customer. And from my experience of 20 plus years, the biggest problem I see with the vast majority of small, medium-sized businesses, there's a lack of understanding as to how my product or service helps a customer. And that's one of the first steps we have to go through in order to build an effective online presence. That means we are seen and we make sales and we build relationships with customers. So, first stage is objectives. Are you a service or are you a product? Now, obviously, I know Derek is selling a product. BT, Yap, is your idea around selling a product or selling a service? Selling a service, okay. So now, I speak to a lot of advisory groups, and a lot of them, the B2B people, service, they have this belief, well, B2C is easy, B2B is a lot harder. Now, in terms of digital, there's no difference between the two. We just have to understand what it is we're trying to sell. We're trying to sell through a screen. Okay, so if we look at what a product is tangible. It's something we can touch. It's something that comes to us, we hold it in our hands, and it makes us feel attached to it. It has a specification, it has attributes, size, color, power ratings. It has features, warranties, promotions. We can have physical stores we can go to. We can purchase over the internet, and typically your website in this instance is acting as a salesperson. When we move into the service delivery, it's intangible. So it's something we package. We have to think about the value and the benefit, and we have to be able to convince somebody to buy into what we are delivering. Our sales very much based on reputation, credibility. Who are you? Now, credibility fits on both sides, and reputation fits on both sides. Because your website, so if we take Derek, your website, you will get reviews. It needs to look professional. And all of this builds credibility and trust, and exactly the same on the service side. Your reputation, as people see you, your customers, your clients fill in reviews about you, all of this works extremely well on the service side. Your services are sold and purchased by other businesses because they trust what they see, or they trust what somebody else they know has said about the service you are delivering. So you have to gain respect. Thought leadership in a service side is becoming a big player. So that's using social platforms to build up your credibility in eyes of people in the industry. So trust and relationships, okay? And usually you deal with advisors when we're selling services, okay? So that's just a small differentiation for you. Why do we have a website? Okay, because there are lots of other channels to reach customers today. Social platforms for pictures, images, videos, messaging tools, okay? And we can talk more about this in the masterclass as to which ones would fit your customer, because there's no point using the additional channels if you don't know who the customer is you're talking to. So there's multiple routes. All of these are valid channels, but the website now adds that layer of credibility. You are in control of the website. You are governing what is posted there. We can control the social content by managing our channels well to build awareness as to who we are and the products or services we sell. It builds credibility. So if we know who we're talking to, we can go and look at their websites and take a picture as to whether or not I trust that person. In other words, is what I see credible? Is it clean? Is it professional? And that's helping build a relationship with somebody you may never have met. Going to LinkedIn in a service industry, B2B, going to LinkedIn where you are now looking at their professional presence on a recognized business channel. Who do they know? Who's made a recommendation for them? We have websites to generate business. We use them to find clients. We use them to sell products. In a service business, we're typically using them to generate leads. So these are objectives. So obviously when we put together a website, we need to be thinking more about what is the end objective that we are trying to accomplish. So on Derek's website, his end objective is to sell product. So everything I'm trying to do should be driving me to products, which I can then add to my cart. And I can get you into a journey where you purchase. So Derek Scott, so I'm going to bring up, am I okay to show your website, Derek?
Yes, no problem.
Okay. So I'm just going to drag Derek's website across because he gave me the URL and this gives him some useful information. Okay. So Derek's
5 days
website,
old.
sorry?
5 days old.
5 days old. It's that new. Okay. So, okay, if we think about pushing somebody to a journey, okay, it's there to sell. So we have this nice rotator, but is it asking me to go somewhere?
A couple of them are, most of them aren't.
Well, okay, but there's no button to click.
True.
True. So you're not driving me anywhere. And obviously on the masterclass, we'll talk about, so let's say, for instance, you just paid for using a Google ad to get me to your website and I land here. So you've paid for that piece of traffic. I land on your homepage, you're not driving me into any product. Okay, but we can pick this up if you register on the masterclass. So just things like this, okay? You know, generating business, selling products, promotion, digital marketing, okay? Everything we do in terms of marketing is driving somebody to a website. Regardless of what the platform is, whether it's Facebook, it's Twitter, it's driving somebody to a website to take an action. So you can have the best SEO in the world and have a rubbish website. You drive an enormous amount of traffic. But when somebody lands there, They're not convinced to buy from you because your website isn't professional looking. So the website plays an extremely important part because it's the end point for all of your traffic. And obviously reach, they're global. We can see websites from anywhere in the world. And if we construct them correctly, we can promote them to different parts of the world. So Derek, you're using a .co.uk, which says to me, your prime focus is the UK market. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so good domain name because the .co.uk should have a preference in Google search results. But there's loads of other factors which we go through on the second week of the masterclass into how do you get good SEO and what are the things you need to do. We'll talk about it very briefly today, just to give you a taster, so you can go think about coming back. 5 S's of websites to sell, obviously, B2C, selling. We all need to sell. To me, selling is the most important part of a small, medium-sized business website because that's your prime function. You're either selling your service or you're selling your product. It can be there to serve, so giving customer service or people self-helping. It can speak, so this is where we use blogs to build that level of people know that you are an expert in this area. You have something to say. It can save us money, so we can remove back office tasks by setting up our websites correctly. And the last one is sizzle. Lots of people think sizzle is what they want. So we want brand, we want to build a brand. Brands take a long time to build. So, people won't search for you by your company name unless they've heard of you. So that's why we use social media to build the brand presence. But to sell, we've just got to get our products and services optimized well, drive traffic to those. So selling is the key. As you grow as a business, the sizzle, the brand side will grow with you. But your prime focus should be around selling your products and services. So the e-commerce journey, you may have seen this, it's quite an old model. It's awareness, interest, desire, and action. Okay, and we'll just flickly click through these. Awareness is you are helping people understand where the value, just let live P in. You've got to understand where the value is to your user. What is it you're bringing that is different to somebody else who's selling exactly the same product or service as you? And we do this with the type of messages we build. And that can be how products are used, providing advice that promotes the product. In the awareness stage, we are not typically going for conversion. We're making people more aware of what it is we deliver and how it helps them. We've got interest. So somebody has an interest. We now have to convince them that the product we sell or services are going to improve their life or their business. We have to start to create a need for the customer. So you may have been on lots of other talks to help you get to where you are today. Well, they'll talk about blog writing and creating content. Blogs and content are brilliant for awareness and interest because it's to capture the people who they've got an issue and they want help with solving their problem. Whether it's a B2C or B2B, exactly the same. Could be a business that has an issue. They need to improve their customer retention. So they'll go and they'll read articles on improving customer retention. And these are awareness and interest level articles. We push the customer towards a decision, and then we have to build our pages to guide them through. So we come back to that. If we think about Derek's website again, somebody lands on the home page, they're interested in meditation, he's got the banners, he's got some messages, but taking that and going, okay, click from here and go to this category of products, or go to this article to find out more. Interest again, why your product is better. There is too much choice available online today. And one of the things we have to do on an e-commerce website is we have to learn how to separate ourselves from everybody else. And it's hard. In doing that, it means we have to understand what our competitor, companies selling the same as service or product as us, what they are doing and how they are marketing. Showing the difference is always a good way. Product comparisons. In the desire stage, you've got to have something that pushes somebody over the edge. That might be a discount code. It might be a voucher offer. We'll talk about those later. Action is all about experience. We can have a brilliant website and the experience of checkout, not being able to get their card validated, not seeing a payment option that they're comfortable with, can actually break the experience of the customer. And then something definitely in a B2C environment, and I'm sure Derek is probably aware of this anyway, or he will be when he starts shipping his product. The biggest issue to a B2C e-commerce website is not your website, it's how you ship the product to the customer. Because if your delivery partner is poor, that's all the customer remembers about ordering from your business. I'm sure you've all had deliveries over the last 15, 16 months. Some of them would have been really good and a great experience. Some of them would have been really bad, where the box is damaged, the product's damaged, the delivery was late, it didn't come on the day you expected it, or you were told it was going to come, or delivery was delayed quite extensively. And these are the things we're fighting with. So you can have a great website, pick your delivery partners well. Returns, okay, best use. So this is after sale content, following up with customers. This is a great place to get your customers doing your marketing for you. So getting them to write reviews about products. And you will have seen this for anything you've ordered if the company is good over the last 15, 16 months, where you are asked to review. Tell us what you thought, because what they're doing is they're sending you a simple automated email message that then gets your content. And guess what? When we use that in our websites or we use it in social media, it gives proof that this is a customer that is commenting on how good this product or service is. And that has a very high positive effect on future purchases from people who see their message. Okay. Key step, customers. We have to understand the customer. The customer is extremely important. So personas. This is not about locking them off, but a website typically is built for a specific customer, your ideal customer. Now, you should all know who that is. What do they look like? What do they like? How old are they? What gender are they? Because when you start building your marketing messages now and how your website looks, it's the customer, your ideal customer, that drives that. Now, if you have multiple customers, that's where we get into the realms of, from an SEO perspective, we have to have them enter the website in the correct place to convert them. But different people like to see different types of images. They like to see different types of message. So this really is something that should be done before you start building a website. So I'm going to ask you, Derek, because obviously I've got your website here and it's 5 days old. Do you know your customer profile?
Partly, not entirely.
Partly. Well, partly is a good start. Okay. Because from partly, we can do things to try and identify them even more. And so when we get into things like Facebook advertising, partly gives us the ability to create quite a good audience. And then from that, we can target it down to start testing, okay, I'm going to try this type of image for the younger people in this group and this type of image for the older segment. But we're targeting.
I think products on my site are actually quite split gender-wise.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you look at the meditation machines, quite technological thing, bit new, probably more male orientated. I'm a member of the forum for the machines, and nearly all the members are male. If you look at the scented products, it's very much more female. So there's 2 different sides of the business there that have really got 2 completely different marketplaces.
Which means when you start to think about how you're going to drive traffic to this website, they're 2 completely different messages.
Yes.
So where they land should be completely built for each audience. Now, the question I have for you is, the people into the machines are more male. Yeah. Who's the end user?
In what respect?
Do you think it's they're buying it for their wives?
No.
No, they're buying it for themselves.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So now you've got a differentiation there. So from a marketing message, we have to, push those to the male audience, and then your other stuff you're pushing out to the female.
Yes.
And this comes down to how you actually structure your marketing campaigns. Okay.
Yeah,
and the wording on the pages might be completely different. Not that you may very well be able to sell the machine to a female if the wording is set that way.
I think if you look at the candles and things of that nature, it is aimed very much at the female audience with the wording.
Yeah. And this is what so you're on the journey, which is good. Empathy maps. We'll talk more about these on the masterclass. But this is more, we're taking the persona and then we're starting to, because this helps us create our content. How do they feel? What do they see? What do they say and do? What are their pains? What are the gains in relation to how then our product or service helps match these 2 areas? It's quite, it's a lot of thinking, but it actually has a big benefit for when you start to write content, because you're now starting to write it in relation to the customer that you are trying to reach. Okay, so let's go. Okay, requirements. So this is just an overview of typical expected requirements on websites. If we know what the customer expects, and today we expect a lot more. If we go back to 2000, the expectations from customers on website owners wasn't very big. Today, we expect websites to deliver multiple different things. If you can get customer expectations, it brings success. So BT, you're selling a service. Will you be putting pricing on your website for your service? I'll give you a chance to answer in chat. Will you be putting pricing onto your website for your service? request a quote. Okay, so, and this is an interesting area. Does the customer expect in your area, would they expect to see a price from a guide, or will they want to request a quote? And these are the things you need to ask yourself. Because if there's an expectation to see a price, then we can give a from price. Perhaps we can look at a different way of perhaps packaging the service into different levels. Yeah, the prospect may compare you, and that is the reason people don't put them on. I'm just suggesting to think differently, because if you can get a clear value as to why they should use you, because if you send a quote, they've already got a quote from somebody else, so they know you're more expensive or not as expensive. So you have to be selling the value you bring. Obviously, in Derek's case, it's a product, which means it has a price, but he has to price it in relation to other people in the market. And let's say his candles are more expensive. He has to show why his candles are more expensive. He has to convince the customer that this candle is better quality than what you might buy that's cheaper. So it's, it's a thing to think about. Obviously, in the masterclass, we can go into that in more details. Requirements for e-commerce or any website that's selling service is, if we get these correct at the start, it saves us money down the road, because there's no hidden sort of, oh, well, actually, no, I want to put a guest checkout in. And the company, if you've gone to a company to build your website, go, yeah, but a guest checkout, you didn't specify that at the start. So that's now going to take us some more time. So we're going to have to increase the price of the contract. We're going to have to increase the price of what we're building you. So requirements become extremely important for saving you time and costs down the road. So typical products. Okay, how many products? How big is the catalog going to be? Do we need to put products into multiple categories? Upload multiple images? Are we using attribute-based shopping? Do we need people to register and reserve a spot and take a deposit? And then we invoice them the final. All of this starts to play. Customers, what do our customers expect? If you use Amazon and Amazon Prime, this gives you a great idea of what customers expect. I want to be able to see my history. I want to see what I've purchased in the past. I want to set up multiple shipping addresses. I want somebody to track their order, which means I now have to provide tracking services and link into a tracked mail system. I want to offer guest checkout. If we go further, payments. Okay, PayPal, Stripe, Apple Pay, Amazon Pay. Which one should be present? Which one shouldn't? And a lot of this is driven by who is your customer? What are they expecting to see? Buy on account for B2B sales. So you're going to invoice them. Free products. Buy free, buy two, get one free. Being able to build offers and discounts. People paying on installments, so embedding things like Klarna into your B2C website. What does your customer expect? If you're shipping a product, are you doing it weight or cost-based? If it's weight-based, it means you need to know exactly what everything weighs. If it's cost-based, you need to know where your point is, where you can give free shipping because you've earned enough profit off your products. You're going to have people in multiple countries. So is it locked to one country, or are you going to do export? If you get into doing export overseas, you need to now start understanding the tax rules, because in terms of the EU and Brexit, the tax rules are causing major problems for a lot of retailers who are selling out of the UK into Europe, because we have to get shipping, we have to do the import taxes. As the shipper done the paperwork correctly, is all of this in place? Where is the cutoff point? How much can I sell into France without the end user being charged for import tax when it lands at his house? Free shipping in some areas, free shipping. People will buy product if they're getting it shipped for free. My neighbor yesterday, she brought some diet. It was it's a funny story in terms of, you think about it, what she actually purchased. She purchased some special foods for the diet she's on, but she doesn't have Amazon Prime because she won't pay for Amazon Prime. So she had to pay shipping. Now, in order to get the shipping over the free to the free level, she had to order something else from Amazon. She ordered the box of Maltesers because they were delivered to my house because she wasn't in and they couldn't get them through the letterbox. But it's quite ironic that she's brought £115 worth of special diet food. And so she could get free shipping, she added a box of chocolate Maltesers to the order. But people are driven by that free shipping. And that is a strategy when we're building an e-commerce website, where we put free shipping. You get free shipping if you spend this much, because you're going for the people who will add to the cart to get the shipping for free. In her case, she chose the cheapest thing she did, whereas in a lot of people's cases, they will just add another item that they really like just to get free shipping. Additional things, gift certificates, discount codes, newsletters, reviews, upsell, cross-sell. All of these now are expected functionalities inside of websites. You just have to decide, does my customer want to see these? How easy is it to add in? So I know you're using WooCommerce, Derek. So all of this functionality is pretty much in WooCommerce already. It's just a case of you need to figure out or get some understanding of where and how to use it. Okay. Options for e-commerce, there's 3 ways to build. We'll go into this in more detail. Obviously, option 1 is marketplace. Marketplaces are extremely good for e-commerce. So marketplaces, Amazon, eBay, Generalist, Etsy, Craft, Wayfair Furniture, Zalando Clothes, Game Electronics. And these are specific online channels where companies can list their products. And we're also seeing, so BT Yip, where you're doing a service, we are now starting to see B2B websites. I'll show you a tool where B2B websites are listed as well, where you can use those platforms. But why do people use marketplaces? And why should we, as e-commerce stores, think about marketplaces? Large customer reach. Large customer reach are people who trust that platform. Now, you would be looking for generalist, but also niche. So let's say, for instance, Derek, you have some candles that are primarily, they're not available on typical high street stores. They're a special brand. Etsy becomes an extremely good platform for selling those unique niche type products. They have visibility. So they're extremely well indexed by search engines and people know about these platforms. Single payment, they handle all of that for you. We've got storage options. They do international markets. So if you want to expand and try selling overseas, the platform is already built for that. Seller reviews, language and currency is included, and they're trusted. Some parts, should we have our own website now since then? It's a question. I think your own website as well. I think a marketplace is another route to customer. Your own website shows you are a real company. However, I'm going to say this, if you are starting out BT, a marketplace is a great place to test your product and see if people are interested in purchasing, whilst you are then developing a website to stick and give you the brand presence and brand trust. Because marketplaces work extremely well in Asia. In the UK, in Asia, they won't go typically and buy from a website. They will look for a website to see if the company is legitimate. Whereas we move into Europe and the US, people will go to websites to purchase because the fact that chances are I've had to increase the prices of the product to sell on the marketplace in order to cover the fees and costs involved in selling through them. So I can probably get it cheaper going direct to the person's website. So it's just another channel. But I definitely would test it, work out which marketplace works extremely well for your product, and test and see different ways of pushing it out there. You definitely need to drive traffic to your own website as well. So the user, where do they buy from, is how we drive that. And there are tools which we'll go through in the masterclass where you can go to Amazon, you can look at the identifying number for Amazon and it will tell you the price range that this product is being sold for. It will show you the estimated number of sales you can make, and it will also tell you if I sell it for this much, what is my profit after selling it through the platform. So, you know, we've got lots of tools that we can use. Now, the British government have created a selling online website where we can look at marketplaces on a global basis and see the costs involved with using those, and we'll cover that on the masterclass itself. Okay. So marketplaces is option one. It's simple. We can use easy website builders. Okay. So easy website builders, I'm going to put into this pot Shopify and BigCommerce. Shopify is extremely good. I've got a couple of websites that I operate. I've got some on WooCommerce and WordPress like Derek's, and I've got a dropship website into America running on Shopify. Shopify was extremely quick to get going. I can add products straight from the browser on the place I dropship from. Straightforward, shove them in, puts the images in, it gives me an estimated how much should I sell this for in relation to everybody else on Shopify. And it just does everything. It's really quick. WooCommerce, for me, fairly easy to use, a lot more complex in setting up than using the Shopify site, but still extremely functional. So these one-click website builders, so Shopify and BigCommerce, they give you the platform. They're extremely good to get started because they're function rich. They're hosted for you. You don't have to worry about hosting. They develop code, so they're always looking at making sure it's secure. It's a supported platform. It grows with a business. Payment options are already present, and they have professional templates to start, and you can buy templates quite cheaply. So, you know, they work. If we go to the next level, which is bespoke websites, this is where you're either building it yourself So you're downloading tools or you're writing code. You get a lot more flexibility than using a tool set like Shopify or BigCommerce, because you're in control of exactly what's there, which means we can customize a solution a lot more. And if we need to integrate into additional tools like stock management systems, etc., in this environment, it's a lot simpler. So this is where we start seeing WooCommerce and WordPress coming in, and Magento. And these are tools we download, they give us a code base, and then we build from the bottom and we start adding things to it. Shopify works very similar, where we just rent it off somebody. And this comes down to, what is it I'm trying to do? How much functionality do I need? It could be that Shopify straight out the box does everything you need it to do. It did for the dropship site I've got. My other site, I need to download the product catalog, read that file, get the stock numbers, and then populate my WooCommerce website on the fly, which works. And because it's a bit more, there's a bit more integration, there's a level of, I don't want to sit and add products, I want to do it automatically, involved in how it works. Which one's right for you? That's a discussion based on requirements, how much time you want to spend managing a website yourself. If you go to an agency to build your website, they will typically use either a tool they've developed themselves, which is nothing wrong with that, as long as that tool is being continually developed. So you don't hit issues with SEO, you don't hit issues with the more technical stuff that typically these tools like WordPress have already hit and somebody has written the solution for. Things to note with any e-commerce platform. You have to understand your costs. Distribution, sales margins, profit. I've seen too many people selling online, and actually once they put all their costs in, they are making no money at all for the sale of a product. So you've got to get your metrics. How much am I buying it for? How much am I selling it for? How much am I spending on marketing it? How much am I left at the end? Okay, all marketplaces charge to sell and list. All web sales, where there's a transaction, you will lose a percentage of your sale to actually carry out the transaction. And a lot of people don't factor these in. Promotion and marketing. Okay, we have multiple different ways of driving traffic to a website. Display advertising, social media, generic paid, organic, referrals, emails, direct. Okay, now in terms of action, these channels fit in different places. So you'll see social over here and display. They are what we class as awareness. So go right back to the start: awareness, interest, desire, and action. Awareness campaigns are the start of the customer's journey. This is where they're finding out about your service or product. Direct visitors typically know who you are, what they want, and they're closer to actually adding to cart or filling in the form to contact as a lead. So the different marketing channels fit in different places, which we should be using to influence how we are going to carry out campaigns. Search, just to start us off. Search, vast majority of people start their journey in a search engine in Europe and the US. 81% of people search online for a product or service. So they're going to tools like Google and Bing. If we look at search traffic, we've got paid advertising and we've got organic. 68% is the recognized average for traffic into websites. from search engines. The vast majority of that coming off organic, with probably 50% of the traffic coming out of paid search. Paid search, you may be skeptical as to whether you should use it. Definitely for startup businesses, I would say if you want traffic, the quickest way to do that is paid search or paid social media, which we will cover on a masterclass in more detail of how to do that and hopefully save yourself money. But I'll give you some quick areas now. So Google Shopping. So these are the images that appear on Google Shopping. On Google search results, this is driven through Google Shopping. Google Shopping is a paid advertising campaign that links to another tool owned by Google called the Merchant Center. So I don't know if you've looked at this, Derek, but obviously that is a feed direct from your e-commerce website to Google Merchant Center, and then Google Ads picks it up.
Not looked at that.
Yeah, so it's we get the product, we get the price, and if we click, we go to the website straight to that page. It's all based, it's cost per click, which means we can be visible and it doesn't cost us because we only pay when it's clicked. Google search ads are the text ones we see. This is another level. For a B2C website, it is worth looking to see who is advertising products similar to yours, so you can actually get an idea of, am I in the same price point as them? Because Google Shopping, if you're way more expensive, you need to be showing the value as to why you're more expensive. So Google Shopping, it's one of the things we look at to weigh, is this an opportunity or not? Which product titles? Google Shopping works on SEO, whereas Google search ads, the text ones, that works on keyword matching. It's a different principle to how the two work. We have to feed in through a different service, which Google actually provide that for us, but it's a direct feed. Okay, so it works extremely well. In Shopify, if I add a product, I change the price, it automatically, because I've got the module on mine set up, it automatically modifies it in my Google Shopping. So my ad changes pretty much instantly to reflect there's a change of price. We have Facebook and social advertising. Again, if your customer lives on social media, Facebook and Instagram advertising is extremely powerful. However, iOS has just released a new update where we turn off tracking in apps, which means this is having a major impact on Facebook targeted adverts. Same for Instagram's platform. So this has recently happened in the last 2 or 3 months. Now we're all concerned about privacy, so we turn off tracking. But what that does is it means in our social platforms, the advertising now is generic. So we will get more random ads instead of ads that we would actually respond to. Well, then they hope we click, and then that helps them learn more about us. But we're going to see a lot of less targeted display advertising. Facebook works, Instagram works, and LinkedIn advertising for B2B works extremely well. The keys to that is knowing what you're doing so you are not wasting money. Pretty much when we get into the advertising side of growing, definitely a brand new business, I would always say, put some budget aside to drive some traffic. So you're actually building some brand awareness and you're getting people in and hopefully getting some sales. We have our awareness, interest, desire, conversion, strategy, and we're very much in today into looking at the actions people take. So I'm pretty sure if you are social media users, when you go to any website, it typically would then appear in your Facebook feed or your LinkedIn feed. And that's because we're dropping pixels to say this person's visited the website, but we can drop pixels and track across any actions you're carrying out on our websites. So if I add to cart and I don't check out, I would be sending a advert to anybody on Facebook that had added to the cart but didn't check out, because you're in an audience. Digital marketing now is turning towards audiences and taking every opportunity we have to create an audience. So on LinkedIn, we have the ability to create audiences of anybody who has a profile on LinkedIn. We can see the company, the job name, the job title. We can see all of that data come into the LinkedIn. So we know that we've had all these people looking at our website, and these are the companies they came from on LinkedIn. So we can use that as an audience to now target advertising to any company that visited the website. It's a growing area. It's an extremely interesting area. In terms of marketing, we can actually now measure exactly what happens to every pound you spend, because we can see exactly what happens at the website side in terms of traffic generation, and that's done through Google Analytics. We will talk about it on masterclass. I'm not going to talk about it now, but on Derek, I hope you've got Google Analytics running on your website.
Certainly have.
Good. And do you know what it means when you look at it?
The basics of it I do. I'm still learning bits of it, but most of it I do, yeah.
Yeah. So when we, on the masterclass, we'll cover another tool Google give called Data Studio, which means
that's a new one to me.
It's another free tool, but what it gives you the ability to do is hook into your Google Analytics, and it will give you a graphical visualization of the key pieces of data for you. So you don't have to remember where do I click to get this information. You can see how much traffic, how many sales, really easily visually, instead of looking at charts. Okay.
Yep.
It's a nice free tool. Google probably are the market leaders for analytics for most small, medium-sized businesses. That's what we're all using. Engaging with visual. So we'll talk about more of this when we talk about e-commerce and the way you take your product pictures. Okay. This type of product picture where we're showing a body part has the highest engagement rates online. This one here, where we show the full body, it actually has a negative. It takes the person out of the picture on people's perception. Whereas this one here, this one will perform better if it's just a product image without anybody in. This is the best type of image. So if that was a hand or an ear or an arm, it actually gives people feel like they can reach in and touch. Okay, so we have to think about all of this. The colors we use will have an influence. Images, brightness, they need to be bright. They have to have clarity. They have to do liveliness. So happy smiley faces works extremely well. And if you can get some level of ingenuity in there, brilliant. Okay, so your imagery on your e-commerce website needs to be high quality. I have looked at websites for clients or advisors who are advising their clients, and they are selling, they were selling designer clothes made in the UK. And they'd put like this, they've got a woman's blouse on there that costs something like £650. But the picture, the way they'd taken the picture, it made the product look like it was £50. Now, they'd got a nice model in to model, but they'd taken it in somebody's back garden against a fence panel, where the fence panel was not painted all the same color. It had got broken slats in it. She was standing on a patio where the patio looked like it hadn't been jet washed in like 5 years, but they're using this type of picture to sell a £650 blouse. And they thought that was brilliant because it was artistic and etc., which they thought fitted their brand. However, the person who's going to buy that would see and go, hold on a minute, there's no way I'm paying 650 quid for that top, because of the situation it's pictured in. You can kill a website by poor picture quality. Coming to the end. Okay, so that's an overview of the e-commerce. I'm just going to flick through some slides about Digital Catalyst, ICT growth events, and we'll take any questions after. ICT growth events. Sadia, who's on this call, will be in touch with all of you, but watch the website. There are lots of ICT events coming up. There's a whole raft of masterclasses that you can sign up for, and to help you develop your business and move it forward in not just the e-commerce and the digital side, thinking about innovation and products, automation, automating the simple tasks in your business, so you're not having to do everything manually. So there's a lot of great masterclasses and events coming up. Digital Catalyst and specialist support. Now, Digital Catalyst, the specialist report side of it, I'll bring all of these up, okay? Looking for pain points and opportunities in your businesses. Some of the ones I've been involved with, how can we market better? Now, the only issue with this at the moment is the actual support side is currently frozen. We're waiting on funding from Humber to see whether or not that will be extended further to take more businesses in. But that's, that's speak to Sadia, see where that's at. And if you fit the profile, then she can see and inform you when and if there's an opportunity to get on the support program. The alternative is join the masterclasses, where you will be with the people running the masterclasses are the consultants delivering the support program. And you can register on multiple masterclasses. So it's not a case of you can register on one. You could register on 2 or 3 of them that fit what you're trying to do, which means you will then spend time with somebody like me who can help you through the masterclass, get thinking about what you should be doing, and then handhold you during those sessions into, well, this is why you need to go and implement that, and talking through the issues you're having around e-commerce website. How can I get more traffic? How can I automate these tasks? Okay, so the masterclasses went through a digital assessment into support, and then signposting into a digital action plan, looking for services to help you do some of the things you want to do, and also help you select providers to deliver solutions for you. We've done lots of different things: marketing, cloud, technology infrastructures, e-commerce, cybersecurity. There's a whole raft of them. But there's also a whole raft of masterclasses that you would get the vast majority of those topics where we do one-to-one. It would be in a small group situation, discussing and talking and learning and guiding you through. One-to-one there, okay, it's stuff that at the moment we are waiting for more funding to be released in order to expand this side of it. The funding is definitely there for the masterclass side, so I would definitely say at this point in time, if you can't get on Digital Catalysts from a support perspective, book onto the masterclasses and get some support that way. I ran some masterclasses in another region, and it was on e-commerce, and I had my client actually booked on the masterclass, which meant she got the support through the program, but then she also got a further 6 hours of support around her e-commerce website through the masterclass, which was quite good for her. Hand holding to get you started. Okay, the masterclasses are to do that as well. Is to handhold you through the implementation of a marketing strategy or the implementation of e-commerce or automation or innovation. This particular part was exclusive to Humber. Okay, if you need to know more about this, like I say, Sadia will be in touch with you. Anyway, she's not going to let you disappear after this. She's going to get to you and let you know the options that are available. But the website's there and the email address are there for you. Okay, so register and find out more and book onto the masterclasses. That's me finished.